EDU 503, Week 3.1 Parent Meeting over risks of participating in athletics and activities. Good afternoon, parents. I want to welcome you to the meeting. First thing I want to do is go over our parent meeting agenda, kind of give you an outline of what we plan on talking about today. And the big thing we're going to talk about is the prevention of athletic and activities risks, and then covering our sports-specific risks. Wanted to look at it and share with you and educate our parents and our student athletes of potential risks of playing this listed of sports, so we can be more educated and keep our athletes healthier and safer. And then also at the end, I want to touch on three major risks that can happen in any sport that are very important for us to keep an eye out for as a coaching staff, as an athletic staff, as parents, as fellow teammates, to make sure our athletes, again, stay safe. Prevention of athletics and activities risks. Here at Central, we have a full-time trainer. Our athletic trainer is present at all school-sponsored contests at home. The trainer will also be on school grounds during all practices, ready to be on call to come and help with any risks or injuries that have happened, which is a big help to keep our athletes safe. Physical examinations. All participants must have completed a physical form prior to the first practice of the year, and must complete one annually. Coaches training. Again, this is a very important part in our athletic department here at Central. All of our coaches are CPR certified, AED certified, and we also really push our coaches to teach proper fundamentals to help prevent some of these risks that we will talk about here in a little bit. Equipment is another thing that's very important to us. Making sure our equipment is inspected prior to the start and end of each season, and also make sure that all of our equipment has the correct stamps and specs to prevent injuries for our level of play. This is something, again, coaches do before and after the season. Facility management is, again, another thing pretty similar to equipment. We have a routine checklist that our coaches check every day at their facility, whether that's playing surface and surrounding area. And again, we want to make sure our playing surfaces and surrounding area of our facilities are safe at all times during practice or contests for our team and teams that travel in. Risk of playing football and soccer. Football is probably the most contact sport at the high school level. Again, accounts for about 215,000 hospital visits per year. So right there shows you. But most common football injuries are fractures, ligament sprains, concussions, which, concussions is something that happens in multiple sports, and we follow the guidelines by the national office as much as we, to the T, to make sure we prevent, further brain damage in concussion, athletes with concussions. Soccer has about 88,000 hospital visits per year due to injuries. Most of these being concussions, fractures, ligament sprains, ACL sprains, which goes back to our facility management. I want to make sure the playing surface is correct. Good footing kind of will help narrow our ACL sprains and tears down. Risk of playing baseball and softball. Baseball and softball together account for only 110,000 related injuries per year, which is one of the lowest out of sports. But also understand that baseball is one of the highest fatality rates of all sports. Most common baseball and softball injuries are muscle strains, ligament strains, contusions, pitcher's elbow. Risk of playing basketball and volleyball. Basketball accounts for more than 170,000 injuries a year. Most common of those are ankle injuries, foot injuries, knee injuries, sprains, strains. Volleyball, again, has probably the highest amount of different injuries that happen, and to list some of those is tendonitis, lower back pain, rotator cuff injuries, ACL injuries again, sprains and to fingers and toes. Risk of running track and cross country. Running cross country and track can have many injuries related to overtraining and lower leg injuries. Two of the easiest sports to overtrain your athletes because you have to run every day to stay in shape and to train properly. So it's very hard balance to find. And again, the most common injuries in these two sports are shin splints, hamstring strains, patella tendonitis, and runner's knee. Risk of cheerleading and dance. Most common injuries during cheerleading and dance are concussions, ligament sprains, muscle strains, fractures, wrist, elbow injuries. And then finally, I want to talk about this and educate us and make sure that we are aware of what can happen in these situations and stay on top of these. These three are highly important to the safety of our athletes and need to be monitored properly. Heat-related illnesses, heat stroke. Heat stroke is caused by the body's temperature regulating mechanism failing. The symptoms of this are throbbing headache, dizziness, dry skin, muscle cramps, and nausea. Those are the main symptoms. And then you have heat exhaustion, which is the first signs before heat stroke sets in. Some of the symptoms of that is heavy sweating, rapid pulse, and heat cramps. Again, we need to understand heat exhaustion symptoms so it doesn't escalate to a heat stroke, which can be a lot more serious and a lot more dangerous for our athletes. Dehydration is the next big one. Harmful reduction of water in the human body. Symptoms can be some of the following: increased thirst, dry mouth, weakness, dizziness, inability to sweat. And again, dehydration can also trigger heat exhaustion and also heat stroke. So very important that we monitor our athletes, our student athletes, make sure they are consuming enough water on a daily basis to keep them hydrated, to help prevent dehydration and ultimately help heat-related illnesses go down too. Overtraining. This is a big one, like I talked about in track and field. Overtraining can not only cause injuries, but can also cause our student athletes to have burnout, and that's definitely not what we want to do at the high school level. We want our athletes to love their sport and continue to play, hopefully to the next level. But overtraining can also, can obviously burn athletes out and also cause injuries. Some of the injuries that are highly responsible from overtraining are shin splints, elbow tendonitis, and shoulder tendonitis. And these are across the board in any sport. Which obviously there are more injuries that can happen from overtraining. But again, this is why at Central we really push our coaches to be very educated and well versed in what they're teaching and the fundamentals and how we are training. It's very important to us here at Central. So that's the close of the parent meeting. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me personally via email or cell. I'd love to talk more, and hopefully this video has been educational for you to allow you to learn a little bit more about what our athletes risk every day to help prevent future risks from happening, injuries from happening. If we notice things, to get our student athletes the medical attention that we need, and also all be on the same page to again create a better and safer environment for our student athletes. Thank you.